What up, guys? Man, it's been a minute, and the car is kind of done. It was basically last winter. I was in the middle of getting this car together, doing stuff like putting the power steering D-rack job together, and more or less just getting the car back together. Obviously, you can see a ton of work has been done since then. The car, in a lot of ways, was complete. I did drive it quite a bit this summer. Probably had somewhere on the order of 500 or so to 1,000 miles put on it this year. Pretty much just driving it when the weather was nice enough, not too hot, but warm enough to get in there. Obviously, car doesn't have any heat or anything. So just to give you guys a bit of an overview, what it ended up looking like, if you'd followed the previous videos, 95 car, 1.8 motor, no power steering, no AC. I've pretty much gone through everything. It's all super dusty. You can see that just from sitting now, but powder coated intake, powder coated compressor housing, powder coated valve cover. My coworker did those for me, did a great job. I have the exhaust manifold and the turbine housing that came with the car have been ceramic coated in like the Cerakote black. Obviously, you see all the wiring has been wrapped and tucked away and consolidated in a nice fashion. I've got an oil pressure relocation block, so I have my oil feed and an oil pressure sensor there. New coil pack, new plug wires. I had to put a new harmonic balancer on the car. Mine was twisted. Still have the Turbo Smart internal wastegate. This downpipe, I've now basically thrown away the old 2.5-inch cast iron thing and used this little 5-bolt V-band adapter. Made my own 3-inch stainless downpipe. I basically bought the bends and the pipes, cut them all, fabbed it all, stuck it together with a wire feed welder, and then had a good friend of mine TIG weld it all. So that was nice. And the car ran great. Ran really well. I enjoyed tinkering with the tune over the off season. You can see the interior is all done. I've got the LRB speed, I believe, LRB fabrication, not sure. Door panels on here to kind of finish it out. I made myself a little gauge panel, finished painting all the crash bar, wrapping all the wiring in here, bed lining the whole car. I've got the Corbeau FX1 seat. This is the regular size one. The Pro is the thinner one and the wide is the biggest one. This is the middle one. With my seating position, I actually had to notch the door panel a bit to get that to clear, but all fits well. I've got a NRG quick release on the car now with a Momo competition steering wheel, 350 millimeter. I have been using a tablet running MS Droid application plugged directly into the now mounted Mega Squirt in the back, and that's been working flawlessly. A great solution for a cheap dash to interface with your Mega Squirt. The app is free. They do have a pro version to add some more features, but works great. Have been using that all year long. Will be switching that up to a standalone like motorsport spec dash with a built-in data logger communicating via CAN bus to the Mega Squirt, and I'll do a mount and configuration and all that for that, and I hope to video all that to kind of show you guys. On that same line, I've been looking at the gear lever, trying to theorize how I'm going to mount some gear position type sensors so I can relay the gear position to that dash. But got everything all bed lined, kind of cleaned it up as best you can. I mean, it's kind of a deal of how do you make a completely gutted car clean, and this is kind of what I ended up with for now anyway. Got some NVX branded 6-inch coaxials in the doors just for some sound. Have a little Bluetooth module there that interfaces with my phone. And then I've got a little Precision Power 2-channel amp mounted to the underside of this rear deck thing on the inside of the trunk. But as you can see, the car's all taken apart right now. I've got some rear suspension bits missing, and then the entire front suspension is just gone. It's because it's all on the table. Effectively, I'm in the middle of cleaning all this stuff up, and then I'm doing the energy suspension bushings in all of the control arms. I'm going through the shock top hats, rebuilding those with new, bushings on either side of it, redoing the bump stops, adding proper polyurethane spring isolators. These are also energy suspension pieces that won't deteriorate and fall apart, similar to what, the little kind of generic rubber pieces that you might see will do. I'm in the middle of rebuilding this stuff. I've got the brake calipers and caliper hanger brackets with the same guy who powder coated these bits. He's going to be powder coating those, the brake shields, and re-powder coating the set of the front springs because they had some corrosion on them. I am switching the car spring rate wise. I had 550 pound front springs, 350 pound rear springs. I'm now moving the 350s to the front, and I have a set of high travel 250 pound springs right there to go on the rear shocks. Just wanted to soften it up for the road. I'll likely end up hanging to the 550s if I ever want to respring it to take it to the track or something. So just cleaning this stuff up, adding a little bit of paint where it was kind of scaly, fixing any bolts that are bent or rusted or messed up. All new bushings. It's going to get Zerk fittings in all of the bushing holes, so they're greasable and serviceable, so they won't fail or degrade in some ways that polyurethane bushings have for others. Like I said, I'm adding the coil isolators to hopefully quiet down some of this engagement, as well as rebuilding the top hats, quiet down some of the suspension engagement to make it, again, a more solid feeling car just driving on the street. All the caliper slides and caliper hardware is getting all redone. It's getting different, not as aggressive track pads, so it's, again, a little bit quieter, not as squeaky on the road. But there definitely will be more stuff coming on this thing over the off season. I'll try to video the rest of the suspension stuff as I go forward with that. I'll definitely try to video more of that dash project as it comes along. There's going to be a lot to that, setting up the CAN infrastructure between the dash and the Mega Squirt, showing you some of the cool things I can do with the actual dash that I'm using. I'll be using a Cosworth D4 dash. For those of you who aren't familiar, I do work with Cosworth for IndyCar, so that's kind of most of my summer is spent with that, and kind of why I got busy and didn't film anymore. So the Cosworth dash will be going in there. It's a built-in data logger. It has a lot of sensor inputs that the Mega Squirt does not, so I will be adding stuff like oil pressure, oil temperature, probably adding fuel pressure once I get a compliant fuel rail to do it, and some of these more critical inputs that I can log, set up safeties and alarms for that I currently can't do with my tier of Mega Squirt anyway. I only have an MS2, so it's a bit limited in that way. And I just really like that electrical control side of things. So suspension will be coming, dash install will be coming, and a bunch of the stuff associated with that, as well as any kind of general projects that may come up servicing it over the year. I'm debating modifying my exhaust manifold to roll the turbo out a bit and get it away from the head. We'll see if that happens. But anyway, figured it'd be better to make an update rather than none. I do kind of enjoy making some videos, especially when they're informational. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this stuff, and even if I'm just talking to a camera with allegedly people on the other side of it, I do like talking some of this stuff out. It's pretty cool to me. So hope you guys enjoy it too, and hope to give you guys some cool content here in the not so far future. So appreciate it. If you have any questions on what's been done, comments on anything, concern, whatever, feel free to leave them below. I'm down to have a discussion. So until then, I'll post some more content when I get going on it. And otherwise, see you guys then. Peace.